Die4 Radio, Mad 4, the Mad 4 Report. We back, motherfuckers, man. We just chopped you at least 30 minutes of Young Bleed tracks, man, from the old to the new to the current. So all y'all motherfuckers are listening, man. I'm telling y'all, man, go do your homework after this interview. Google his name if you don't know who. If you're not familiar with his music, Google him. I want you to follow him on all the social sites, and then I want you to start purchasing that music, please, man, because this is what we do out here at Die4 Radio. We, like I said, we keep our icons, our veterans, our pioneers, our legends in the game, man, coast to coast, man, up and down. We keep these guys' names in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do out here. But you know what? Speaking of the man of the hour, we got my dude in the house. Young Bleed, man, what it do, family? Welcome to Die4 Radio.
Oh, man, appreciate y'all having me, man. What's good? What's good, man?
Hey, man, I just want to say thank you, man, for making the time, to fuck with me on Die4 Radio, man. I really do appreciate this shit.
Absolutely, and same here, man. Each one teach one, man, so I appreciate it all the way around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, we do got a younger fan base, and we got them all over, man. We got it all from Turkey. We even got it from Turkey, Denmark, like all overseas, man. Australia. For those who don't know who Young Bleed is, can you let them know who Young Bleed is?
Man, I'm yours truly, man, the originator, Mr. How You Do That there himself, Mr. I Smoke, I Drink. Rest in peace to my man, Mr. Magic, man. Shout out to my cousin, Lee Booster, man, out of Southside, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, man. Original No Limit, Priority Rucker, C-Loc Soldier, man. So, yeah, from the 90s into now, man, to be continued.
Hey, man, and that's some real shit because the first time I heard of you was through C-Loc's concentration camp albums and stuff. And you're talking about some days. You're talking about that's the first time I actually heard of you. And then and then when you did with the No Limit, you did a deal with the No Limit. How did that Master P deal come about?
Really, man, to rewind the tape a little bit for you, man, I'm actually the founder of the concentration camp. Me and locals homies that grew up together, and it's an idea I brought to him for his label, C-Loc Records at the time, like in 94, 95, to give a clickation name to all of us. So I come up with the concentration camp, and we all morphed from Baton Rouge and, networking between here and New Orleans, man, while those guys was coming up, jumped out the chute before us. We was on our rise at the same time. So naturally, it was a matter of time before a guy like C-Loc and Master P would run into each other, and we started working with each camp together, and we all became family. With P having access to California and Priority Records, man, pretty much the rest is history, you dig?
Yeah, and that's real shit, man, because I have a huge collection of hip-hop CDs, stuff that you can't even find on the shelves anymore, or, there's no more storage and shit. So I have a lot of that stuff still, and that's why I was able to put this show together is because I have so much music that I could just upload and just go from history from there. But yeah, man, that's some dope shit.
I appreciate that. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, man. Out that way, man. Good looking.
Oh yeah, that's what we do out here at Die4 Radio. So like I said, man, we want this to be one of your homes to do music. So whenever you got a new project out, a new single out, you let me know. We'll get that motherfucker spinning, man, right off the top. So shout out to your dude Omega, though. He hit me up earlier, so definitely going to
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy, my big bro out there in the Indianapolis area, man. We've been partners for a long time and been working for us at Ruckus and touring over, the last few years or so together, man. So shout out to Omega Legacy, man. Much love.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I have to ask this question because this is the first time we have you on the show, and I ask this question to every guest that we have the first time on this show. Some can answer it, some can't, some forfeit. I mean, it's fine if you can't answer it. That's all good. You know what I'm saying? But who are Young Bleed's top 5 MCs of all time?
Oh man, I would have to start. I'm what they consider old school nowadays, man. But Yeah, man, I go back to the 80s as far as the evolution of hip-hop. I'm a 70s, 80s baby, man, so I'm born right around the time, probably about as old as hip-hop is existence as far as past a 40-year span, man. So I'm in my early 40s, so I have to go back and say rappers like Rakim is my favorite rapper of all times. LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane. It's like I really have to break it down in sections. It's really hard for me to narrow it down to five. And of course, Tupac
right.
and Big, man. And like I say, my list is infinite, man. I even hate to shorten it up like that when you mention the Ice Cubes, the Eazy-E, Snoop, Scarface. So, I'll go on and on with you for days and beyond those guys, way back, in the origin of the Sugar Hill Gang and Busy B and Curtis Blow. So yeah, man, I'm actually a student to the game, and eventually I morphed and came off the teachings of those guys, East Coast, West Coast, down south, Midwest, up north, worldwide. You dig?
Yeah, I know. A lot of people give me grief about that question because 5 ain't enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. It's too many nowadays,
that's what makes this shit funny.
Right, I hear you. Yeah, man.
That's some real shit.
Yes,
yep.
Definitely.
And now, are there any artists that you haven't had a chance to work with that you would like to work with?
Yeah, man, I always try to go back to the origin of things. So a lot of those guys that still here from the East Coast, old school and new, I love to work with, and that's here again an infinite list. On into the West, I just follow the game. It's kind of like a backwards clock when you place a clock on America and start from New York on and went to the West and eventually down south for the Ghetto Boys. And in my section, so throughout my travels, man, I've met so many artists and rappers alike. Each city, state, everywhere, underground, up and coming, and you know what I mean. So what I try to do here again throughout my travels is, man, when I get a chance to rub shoulders with anybody, I try to become a part of that history and make history with them and leave that for the books, as life goes on. So yeah, man, it's here again an infinite list, man.
Hey man, I can dig it. I definitely could dig it.
Yes,
now,
sir.
What projects do you have that are out now that are brand new as far as singles, albums, compilations, whatever you got going on? What is new right now that the fans can go pick up? Because we got a young, like I said, we got a young fan listening base, and one thing I know about these guys, that's fact. They always send me pictures of the artists that we got, and they go and support and buy the music. So let these guys know, man, because I want these motherfuckers to go and get your music, man.
Right. Actually, and I appreciate that, man. Actually, a year ago, actually this month, man, I released an album called Living that consists of artists. When you mentioned guys that I love to work with, shout out to my big bro, Sebo and West Coast Mafia. We've been down for years, all but a 10-year span, if not beyond. Here again, the album is called Living. It consists of Sebo, Daz Dillinger, Yuckmouth, Spice One, Moby Dick from the original Beats by the Pound, Big Mike from the original Ghetto Boys and the Convicts, rest in peace to 3-2. Who am I missing? Cocaine out the West Coast. So, I get a lot of love everywhere, and in particular out that West Coast, man, a lot of those guys come through for me. So, overall, up and coming artists here and there. So, yeah, the album is called Living. To purchase it's available on all social media sites, as well as physical copies, man. You can go to my website, which is entitled www.trapdoor, no slang words, ent.com, and you can make any purchase of any materials, far as merch. It's a book I put out a couple of years ago when I was a part of Strange Records, Strange Music with Tech Nine and those guys. So I got different stuff just to update everybody. Things of the past, videos, here again, merchandise, you know what I mean? What have we, mixtape and all that, so on and so forth. So here again, tap into www.trapdoorent.com. So that's the latest. My album, Living, I dropped last February. Everybody's still kind of catching up on it, you know what I mean? So it's definitely a treat for those that hadn't got it, a real classic album. Picking up where I left out. But going into this 2018, I'm working on a new album. And I'll send you those singles the one in particular single that I'm jumping off the record with. The album is called What a Life. The single is called What a Life. So y'all get ready for that. Right now I got guys for as Chairman Fred of the Black Panthers up in Chicago. He featured on the record. The original Freeway Ricky Ross from out Los Angeles, California. He featured on the record. Sally Sale is on that record. Trey D from the East Side is Snoop and them Entourage is on that record. Pastor Troy from Atlanta, Skinny Pimp out of Memphis. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know. Some portion of the movie Hustle and Flow is based off, you know, the life and you know, what have we a Skinny Pimp, you know, for those that's not up on Skinny Pimp. So what I try to do is, like I say, in my passing, I try to connect with all these guys and who's available. We try to get together and put classic records and, you know, to keep our fans included along with this new generation as well. So I really try to bridge that gap between young and old, to give that history, bring us up to date, and then go from here. So, yeah, the best is yet to come. But, yeah, y'all stay tuned for that. The new album coming soon, a couple of months, called What a Life. The first single off of that is called What a Life, and it's a massive record, man. So I'll make sure I get that to you, so you'll have, you know, the dibs on the first single, and we'll see what it do from there. But yeah, basically that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And everybody listening on my social sites, I will be posting the website where his website where you guys can go get that as well. So the young motherfuckers that are lazy to write down shit and go back to the interview, guys, you go to my social site and you'll have the website up there, so you can go get the music, man. Just get the fucking music, man. Support.
Get the music. That's right.
Up in here.
Yeah, support real artists, man. I say that. Support the real artists, man. Keep the real here for all what everybody's complaining about. Yeah, it's you know, a lot of us is still around, and if you're not up on what's going down, you're gonna miss the whole picture, man. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, speaking about that, how did you hook up with Tech Nine, man? Because when I first found out that you did sign with the album deal with Tech Nine, I was like, that is dope, because Tech Nine's out there doing big things. Because he got Brother Lynch, and then he got you. I was like, that is the moves, man. How did that come about?
Actually, man, it goes back to the original origin. When P made us a part of Priority Records, naturally, I got good friends and family on the inside of the building, man. And shouts out to Dave Weiner. And he was an A&R, whatever his position was at Priority. We became good friends over a 15-year span now. Well, really over a 20-year span now. We talking Balls in My Word, my first solo debut to the album. That album really came out in January of '98. So with it being 2018, yeah, me and Dave got over a 20-year relationship based off of Priority Records. But years later, he went off and had his ventures, I had mine, and we got back together on the strength of a friend of mine by the name of Chauncey Clyde. That's an up-and-coming artist, or a legendary artist around the Kansas City, Missouri area, which is the home base of Strange Music and Tech Nine and all those guys. So Dave became, over years, the vice president at Strange Music. And I was in between some contractual situations trying to see what my next venture would be. And he offered me a situation at Strange, which eventually, more or less, introduced me to Tech Nine and Travis O'Gwen and the rest of the staff and family members at Strange Music. So, yeah, off the same family tree, bro. It's not what you know, it's who you know, you dig?
Yeah, man, that is dope, though, man. That is dope because, like I said, man, I like how Tech Nine is doing, and he's swooping artists like yourself up, man, and just working with you. So I like that shit,
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
That's
one of the greatest,
shit.
man. Just shouts out here again to Tech Nine. He one of the greatest to do the thing. So, yeah, again, thanks to those guys, and shout out to the whole Strange Music, man. That's what's up.
Yep, yes, sir. Now, during the time when you was on No Limit, I mean, you go back to the days of the Source magazine, and you just see you guys' stuff advertised like crazy. I mean, there used to be 2 pages of the same ad back to back on back in the days. When that was so bubbling, what was you going through your mind? Like, wow, this shit is crazy. Was there something like that? Like, you were surprised at how big it got?
Yeah. Naturally, man, I started rapping about 1983 when I was a 9-year-old kid in the 4th grade, tinkering around and, hoping and having this dream for life one day that this situation to take place for me, more or less. So at that time when I got on with No Limit, of course, coming out the camp into Priority Records, I was between 22 and 23 years old. So it was real phenomenal to actually see the Hollywood sign, this is it, the CNN building that harbor Priority Records, So walking in and seeing the first NWA record on the wall, the Eazy-E record, the Chronic record, and the Jay-Z record, Reasonable Doubt. I knew, hey, this the big time. It's real, you know what I mean? Platinum and gold records on the wall, so here it is, you know, now or never. So as a kid, I was trying to get my feet wet and get my feet, you know, on the ground and that type of thing. So it was a whole lot that was taking place. It was a beautiful thing. But it's all business at the end of the day, so you got to get used to that. You know, I had to lace my shoes and all kind of things, but the rest, you know, is pretty much history, man. So, yeah, beautiful times, my man. Beautiful times.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, that was such a great time, especially seeing the No Limit Tank and everybody. I mean, telling you, that was, I think that was such a marketing genius move by Master P on that part. But at the same time. Of course,
absolutely. Yeah.
1999 starts to roll by, and then you got Cash Money Records coming out.
Right.
Did you guys think that they were going to come out there and I'm not going to say that they ambushed you guys as far as like the marketing type, because they kind of, to me as I see it, they followed the way that Master P was leading the way. You know what I mean? And they banked along that way, and it kind of grew out like at that point, Cash Money kind of outsold a bit of the No Limit record artist music. What was your thoughts on that?
We're really coming from the same backyard. I knew a lot of those guys before the big time. Shouts out to Baby and Ronald, you know what I mean? Juvie, the BG, the Wayne, and then recently as Turk. Me and Turk just kind of met in the flesh, I want to say, over the last year or so, just working with each other and different people that we was working with on the in-between. So with me coming from Louisiana, they was already making noise for us, New Orleans and Louisiana. We'll have several shows at the same spot. So I could see they rise, you know what I mean? So what P did was coming back from California to New Orleans. He centered that attention, you know what I mean, around who was next to come out of New Orleans. It opened the eyes to the world. And those are the next guys in line. And really kind of, P kind of in one sense got in the door before those guys did. But anybody that knew it like I knew it from here, yeah, they was destined to do what they became, you know what I mean? So shouts out to Cash Money Records as well.
Yeah, man, shout out to every artist anyways coming from the NO, because I'm such a big fan, and everybody just thinks that it's just Master P and stuff. I go, no, man, you could go back all the way to the Convicts album with Big Mike, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Rap a lot.
Thank you, man.
You could go way back there. It's just not that. And there's so many dope artists out there. And one thing people got fucked up is a lot of people think that Boosie is like a new artist. No, he's been in the game for a long time. You know that as well. I mean, you guys were in the concentration camp. So,
and for a lot of people,
how you see Boosie today?
Well, you know, for life history, man, really, me and Boosie is family. We cousins off the same block, the same neighborhood. So definitely, you know what I mean? I started the camp that would eventually give birth to him years later. We had broke apart, you know, the NWA type of thing, and everybody kind of went in their own corners of the globe, except for the remaining members of the camp and keeping that camp situation that eventually he again gave birth to Boosie. So I could see that, you know, ever since he was a kid, 13, 14 years old when he made his first album, the youngest in the camp. So just out the neighborhood into the city, surrounding areas, and eventually the southern region, you know what I mean, everybody was catching on to Boosie. And I want to say he may have had a few other records nationally, but he, again, shouts out to Mr. Magic, out the original No Limit camp, really TRU, Free C Murder, you know what I mean, Free BG, Free Matt. He was really an artist for C, you know, with TRU, under TRU, but once C had all his difficulties, and I think somewhere between those lines, he evolved into No Limit Records. But mentioning him to say this, he had the record I Smoke, I Drink, and eventually that became a national record that worked for Mr. Magic, and not only him, me, myself again, and along with the birth of Boosie. So I want to say that might have been his first national record when the rest of the country was able to get a glimpse of him. But yeah, for like I say, being in the same backyard, we all kind of played in the same sandbox, you know what I mean? So you could see from the gate what some of us was destined to be, and he was definitely one of those, you know, on up into the day. So yeah, family tree, man.
That's dope, man. Shout out to Boosie, man. He's doing his thing out there, man. Like I say, man, the
Yes,
NO
sir.
is one of my favorite spots when it comes to hip-hop, man. It really, really fucking is.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. They got that.
And
now,
keep this in mind,
now,
too. You know, a lot of people get this confused, and not to confuse the public, but just to state it. You know, we really, you know, New Orleans and Baton Rouge is 45 minutes apart. So really, you know, being a cultural city, everybody know New Orleans for Mardi Gras, Voodoo, and what have we. So it's the most known city out of Louisiana. But all the rest of the areas, you know, guys was doing their thing, and we was like the second city to catch on for as industry. So, you know, Baton Rouge, we really from, you know, along with New Orleans. But, yeah, that was the center of attention at the time, and eventually, you know, the torch passed down, and Boosie got it nowadays. So that's the whole evolution of at least southern Louisiana hip-hop before you get up to Shreveport. And, you know, shouts out to Hurricane Chris, Lava House, and Ratchet City. And when everybody started talking Ratchet, all that come out the boot of Louisiana from the bottom to the top. So that's our origins into the rest of the world, you know what I mean, for those that don't know.
And there you go, motherfuckers, man. Please remember that shit, man. Please remember that shit, okay?
Yes,
don't get it fucked up. But, yeah, man, that is dope, man.
Yes,
that is dope. Now,
yeah,
one thing I noticed about a lot of your music, and what is dope about it, certain songs that you do, it got some type of old Western feel to that shit, man. And I like that shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's some real shit. Like, was that something planned, or is that just something that goes out, like, just in the vibe? Like, fuck it, we're going to do this.
If you go back to the old cowboy days and all that type of thing, you know, the South kind of always ran with the West and the Midwest. You know, a lot of people don't know Billy the Kid originated from New York and eventually to New Mexico and Lincoln County and all that. So that whole vibe, you know what I mean, for us blues and jazz and different elements of music, but in particular that cowboy ride when you get to Texas and Fort Worth being the gateway to the West. We always kind of had that kind of feel. So what I wanted to do was capture that essence and take it back to that. So we used a lot of Young Gun samples from my first album, and in particular the song The Last Outlaw. So I wanted to have, you know, coming off the reminisce and off of Sebo's song, I always like the line that he mentioned about The Last Outlaw all the way back to the old cowboy movie, The Last Outlaw, you know, and Sebo being short for cowboy. So between that and you going to the West, you know, since the gold rush and all that type of thing, I wanted to cinematically capture that, you know what I mean, in an audio visual type of way. So whatever we couldn't do for us to screen, we tried to capitalize and bring that to life throughout the music. So, yeah, that was predestined and planned. It was just a search for the right sound to capture what I was trying to capture, to set the theme, you know, and the plateau for me lyrically. So, yeah, I'm glad the world took to it like that. That was the aim, you dig?
Now, that's dope as fuck, man. Like, I treasure shit like that because not only the fact it's dope, is because it's original. And that's one thing that I love about hip-hop is the originality. So that is so fucking dope. Now, the last thing I want to ask you was, what is it about places like you say Louisiana and Texas that you know they mesh so well with West Coast artists? What is it about that connection between the West Coast and everything down south? Why is it like that? And like it ain't nowhere like that in the U.S.
Okay, well I used to say this in my previous interviews, you know, 20 years back, you know, plus. I used to say once I started to learn American history, go to a few of these places and started linking with guys personally, it go back to African tribal existence into the Caribbean zone, into the Americas as far as the slave trade and all that type of thing. So it's that deep. So a lot of our origins are really, you know, in particular, and there was other slave quarters and different things around the world, but in particular the South, you know, if you know about the Civil War and all that, and the fight for freedom between the North and the South, and Abraham Lincoln and Emancipation Proclamation, so on and so forth. I used to always say this in the interview, before it's over with, everybody's going to have to bring themselves back home. So once I started to get out, I learned a lot of the Cali guys, or the West Coast kind of guys, and other people throughout the country, but in particular, they rooted from Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and so on and so forth. Right. Without going into a list of names, a lot of these guys learned, man, I would have never guessed that your grandmother is from here. Well, you know, you can guess that off the evolution. But a lot of these guys was kids before they morphed and went to California. I want to say somewhere down the line, you know, I'm connected to rest in peace Stanley Tookie Williams, being from New Orleans and morphing to California for what the Crips Evolution became. Huey P. Newton being from Monroe, Louisiana, into the Black Panthers. You know what I mean? So a lot of that, I really studied my history and research to see, okay, just the same question you asking me, why is this like this? So, I mean, Daz even mentioned it on the record we got called So Gangsta on the Living album that I just recently put out last year here again. And he mentioned it down south in the West, we connect like cousins. So in that sense of the word, we say blood down here meaning family. That's my kinfolk. Or cuz, meaning that's my kinfolk. So it's the same kind of terminology and language minus the rag. You know what I mean? It's more a hood thing. Shreveport is like our gang capital, but the more you go up there, a lot of Cali guys and families right up in the northern section of any parts of Louisiana, on into Mississippi, Alabama, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So when you pay attention to a lot of these movies and all that, and you listen, you go back far as the Mac, you know, Goldie, everybody know the California evolution of the Mac and Goldie. But Goldie, you talk to his mom in one segment of the movie and say, you know, when my father died, Mama, we had to leave Alabama, meaning they came from the South into the West. You see what I'm saying? And the rest is history. So a lot of us and the more OGs in the game, and you live long enough, you start to research your roots. You know what I mean? So a lot of those guys will pull me to the side. Hey, man, my family's from here, Opelousas, Monroe, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Oh, man, I wouldn't have never guessed. So that it's a whole lot of, here again, family tree existence that we all kind of, this rap thing being an education and a tool to connect with people all over the world, you know what I mean, before the internet into the internet. So we find out a lot about ourselves just coming in cahoots with each other. So, yeah, it's basically that, man. It's rooted from the South on up, you dig?
And I love it. And I love it, dude. I really do love it. I love the connection, and I love the history, and it's true. You got to do your history to know about this stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's some good stuff, man. That's some real good stuff. Good input right there.
Let me add this to the plateau, too, man. Rest in peace to DJ Screw out of H-Town, Texas, but really originally a California baby that moved to the South. So when they say the king of the South, the true who we call the king of the South really not from the South. He came from the West into the South. So it's that back and forth evolution that we all recognize in each other and make it a little bit better to embrace. The more you get farther away from the South and the bigger cities, a lot of these guys have forgot their history or at least don't acknowledge it or just don't know it, you know what I mean? So a lot of us that follow that trend, yeah, we see exactly what it is and why it go like that and why we relate on both sides, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, that's real. That's as real as it can get, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to say thank you, man. I know you're a busy person. I don't want to keep you up all night. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thank you. At least, spending some time with us on the show. I appreciate it. Whenever you got a new single, like I said, new project, you hit me up or your man Omega get me up. We'll get that motherfucker popping right away. Is there anything you want to add that you didn't get a chance to add?
Yeah, man, I just want to add my social media sites, man. For those that's not up on me, man, you can tap in on Facebook. You can go to the Young Bleed fan page, you know what I mean, and find me all the time. On Twitter, it's at Real Young Bleed, and on Instagram, it's The Real Young Bleed. So, you know, and everywhere else I'm available pretty much on social media. So tap in with your dog, man. Stay in tune to what's going on and support real artists and real music to keep this cycle going, man. So that's me all day, every day.
And that's what we're going to do right here, my brother. I mean, we're really going to do this shit out here for you, man. Like I said, you already family, so no matter what, we're going to be playing Young Bleed music throughout the rest of the way until the wheels fall off, my dude. So you in, man.
I appreciate that, family. Hold me down, and I got you whatever you need for services and all on this side, man. I got you covered. Actually, my single is being remixed. If I get that before the week is out, you'll be one of the first to get it, man. So I'll get the email either from you or Omega.
We'll get that going, man.
Yeah.
We will get
make
that
sure,
going.
you know. Yeah, I get that to you, man. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear your input on it, man. I really got some new stuff that everybody that got a chance to hear, they loving it, you know what I mean? So I can't wait to get that out into the world. So y'all stay in tune, get ready for the new album, What a Life 2018. Y'all know what I mean?
Yeah, buddy. Now, before you go, can I get a Die4 radio drop from you, man? Because we need that, man. We need that.
Okay, yeah, definitely, man. Let me I'm trying to see how you saying the station again. I don't want to say it wrong.
It's Die4 Radio, the Mad 4 Report.
Mad 4. Okay, yeah, okay, I got you. If you're ready, let's get it on.
Let's go.
Okay, yo, this your boy Young Bleed, man, broadcasting all the way live from Mad 4 Radio, man. That's what it do in the 2018, if you yada that mean. Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I want to say thank you
Sir.
again. I want you to enjoy the rest of your night, man, and stay blessed, stay safe, and keep blessing us all with that dope music, my brother, because we love it, and we're going to be pumping it out
sir.
like drugs at the drug house, my friend.
I appreciate that, and you do the same, man. Much love, one guard above, man. Let's keep it popping. I got you on my side for the lifetime, man. Appreciate it.
All right, then, my friend. You have a good one.
Okay, you too, bro.
All right. There it is, folks. Young Bleed. You know what I'm saying? So all y'all motherfuckers, man, listening, man, y'all go do your homework, man. I'm telling y'all, man, go. I'm going to post up the website on my social media sites. So y'all motherfuckers go click on and get the music and then follow, man. But let's get into some more of this shit, man. Let's get into Stamp on It. It's Young Bleed. And then we're going to come back with some more shit. It's Die4 Radio.